Melissa Jakes, the Olivia Pope of virtual and live events, is the CEO and founder of Rescue Event Planning, a Washington, D.C.-based boutique event planning firm to influencers, organizations, and corporations. During this pandemic, Melissa's expertise in online event planning has become a hot commodity. Her company also provides several courses on topics related to event planning and entrepreneurship. She gives mommypreneurs the tools and services to balance career, business ownership, and management with family. Melissa has spoken at several events such as Facebook Boost and conducted workshops at universities and small businesses. She has been featured in several publications such as Event Planner Association Podcast, Rent My Wedding Magazine, Morgan State University, iHeartRadio, CEO Blog Nation, BET Influencer, and Event Planner Expo 2020. She provides entrepreneurs with special tools to combat what she calls FWD, fear, worry, and doubt obstacles, in order to break through and become successful owners. Mommypreneurs, let's welcome Melissa Jakes.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Mommypreneur Wednesday. I'm super excited for you guys to be with me today. You know, we come live every Wednesday talking about something with mom, life, business, everything that mommypreneurs need in our life right now, right? So thank you guys for joining me. Welcome. I'm truly excited for you guys to be here. So today we have a special guest, and she's near and dear to my heart, and I'm super excited to get into it, but we need to pay the bills. So we're going to get into, everyone knows, let me get one of my candles. So power moves, and now you guys, you're able to get crystals in your candles. So definitely need to check this out. So power moves, you know, every Monday I light my candle. It's something about lighting, getting the aromas inside your space as you're working, as you're manifesting, making sure that you have those type of aromas going on. And Power Moves helps me. I'll call it on Monday, Power Moves Monday, because it definitely shifts the space. It makes me focus. And as a mom, you know, we have a lot of things going on. So sometimes you just need to close your door, light your candle, and keep it moving, right? So if you head over to noirbynyray.com, as you can see scrolling at the bottom, and if you use my code, Melissa Jakes, you get to save money off of your purchase, okay? We can save money, right? So definitely make sure you do that. Head over, don't get one candle, get 2, 3, or 4. And now that we have the candle with the crystals, if you can see that, amazing. So I love it. And you can get it in different scents as well. So Power Move scents, or a new one that I really love is called Plum Cashmere. So definitely check that out. Use my code and save you some coins. Okay. So I am about to introduce our guest. Oh, there's one more thing I need to talk about. So I had a survey going on for about a week or so. And during this week, I asked for people to fill out the survey for a chance to win a $50 gift card. So I am going to, Visa gift card that is. So I am going to share my screen so we can decide who wins. Okay. All right. So we're going to spin to see who wins the $50 Visa gift card. All right. I think it's Miss Alexis Media or so. I might hope Miss Alexis Media. I think that's her name, or Medina. So yay, you are the winner. Awesome. So I will email you your Visa gift card and you'll have a chance. You'll have that with you. Yay. Congratulations. Thank you guys so much who participated in the survey. It is next year. We have a lot of things coming down the pipeline. We are going to be helping moms really build, brand, and launch their next virtual event. And we're working specifically with mompreneurs. And so we're super excited for that. But, you know, you got to wait for the release date of how it all is going to happen. Okay. So that is one of the asking people for surveys and filling out all the information helps us really game plan our course to make sure we're doing well and making sure we're helping you guys the way that we need to. Okay. So, all right. My guest, her name is Rickia Brown, and she started her business when her daughter was about 1 year old. She was actually in high school. She was only 8 weeks old. She was in high school and she was super determined that hair was always her passion. And her firstborn, just like mine, gave her push. I think a lot of moms can say that. When you first become a mom, you're like, what? And you realize if I can do this, I can do almost anything, right? Giving birth, I can do almost anything. So yes, it gave her push. And making sure she had balance is so important to her as much as possible as being a mom and a business owner. And that she's a mom of 2 at this point now as well. She is a big believer of writing it down, make it plain. She has vision boards. Every time I talk to her, she's manifesting, she's listening, putting things in her ears so that to make sure she is super focused. So I am super excited to have with me tonight. And she's also the hairstylist in the DMV area. Okay. Pretty Girls Rockz. And she's my hairstylist. Don't judge my hair right now because she's all the way booked that had to go for Christmas Eve is when I get my hair done because she's that booked. Okay. So welcome so much, Rickia. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yes, I truly appreciate it. I know you coming straight from the shop.
I am. And usually I'm off on I was off on Wednesdays before, but I come in now for just weave services, extension. Mm-hmm. I do want to say I started in college.
No worries. So tell people about yourself, how you started, how you got it going, and then we'll get into our questions.
Okay, so I started when I always been into hair. My mother, she used to be a hairstylist. I always watched her doing hair, just sitting in the kitchen. I love, even to this day, just sitting and watching other people do hair. So I always had a love for it. So as far as starting to do hair, I started at a very young age, probably even the age of, I would say 6 or 7, because I would do my little sister's hair. But professionally, I started after I graduated college. But even during college, like I did my friend's hair, I took clients during high school and during junior high school. So I would do I was like the roundaway stylist. So I would do, my friends from across the street and my neighborhood friends. I started with doing their hair first, and it kind of expanded from there. And once I went off to go to college, I studied business management at Coppin State. And that's what my degree is in, business management. So once I finished school, I went to hair school when my daughter was 8 weeks old. And from there, I was working at the government. I've been working at the government since I was 16. So at the time when I had her, I was 23. And me and another stylist who's also a friend of mine, we made a bet to leave our jobs. I think it was in 2011 when I left. And so I hated my job. I hated coming in there. I did not want to be one of those people that when someone say how long you been here? And I always heard people say, 20 years, 30 years. I did not want to be one of those people. So I made this bet that we was going to leave our jobs in the end of that year, December. And so In December, I put in my 2 weeks notice. I didn't have any plan. I didn't have any savings. I just walked out on faith. Like I knew that hair was my passion, and I put my 2 weeks notice in. They thought it was the craziest thing to do. Like people kept asking, like, "You sure this what you want to do?" Because when I be at work, like I have my work on top, but underneath I had hair magazines. So all day at work, I spent my time on YouTube, like learning how to do this, how to do that. I had all my hair magazines. So I don't even remember. I didn't even know the title of my job. That's how far into the hair thing I was. So they'll say, what department do you work at? I say Department of Justice. And they'll be like, well, this is the Department of Justice, but what department? I'm like, I don't know. So they thought it was the craziest thing for me to leave my job to pursue hair. One guy told me, he said, you would never make the money doing hair that you would have been in the government. And so fast forward almost 12 years later, like I definitely have made it past then.
Absolutely. And I wish we can see that guy today and be like, sir, let me show you what this bank account looked like. Okay.
It's possible.
Yes. So we are talking, you guys, about building the empire from the ground up. And that's exactly what Rickia has done. And I am aspiring to be as well. And so that is an amazing story that I think a lot of us, as we started our business, has really realized, leaving that job. I had a plan. You truly stepped out on faith.
Yeah.
And that's amazing because my faith is you have stronger faith than me. There's times I'm like, oh, sure, God, you sure? I'm not sure.
I feel like that sometimes too. I am like that at times, but I have my fear of looking back years later and something that I could have did not happening. The fear of that is stronger than me trying. So I'd rather just walk in fear and see what happened than to later on be like, dang, I don't like that feeling of like I should have.
Right. You should have. Which should have, could have. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you talked about how you started building your business while being a mom. She was 8 weeks old in hair school. How long is hair school? Like 18 months?
I went to night school. So I was part-time. So it was 2 years. Full time, I think the full-time program was like about 9 months, but because I went only on like 2 or 3 days a week, and I went at night, so most of the students that went at night like worked on a day, but because I was a mom during the day, I just went at nighttime, and it took me 2 years. So I finished in 2010.
Okay. Yeah. So that's listen, I've been there. Getting my master's, having the baby, and working and trying to still build a business at the same time.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. So what advice can you give moms who are wanting to be in business, not sure what to do, but need that next push?
I mean, for me, first, I feel like you have to know your why. And my why for me is my kids and my family. And then from there, it's everything. I'm a person that I need balance. So everything around me has to have balance. So it's like when I'm off of work, a lot of times I create boundaries around me at all costs. So if it's a Sunday and I'm not working, a lot of times I don't answer my phone. Sometimes I don't answer texts. And this has taken me years to build up because at first I didn't have balance. And what happened with me not having balance is I felt overwhelmed. I used to struggle really, really bad with anxiety. And so with not having balance or boundaries, like sometimes I would overbook, and it took for me to have a panic attack or an anxiety attack in the middle of working, and they had to call the ambulance for me to realize like I have to create boundaries. Like, when you first coming into some things, you could get so excited that you don't have a schedule. So I was working like every day, and then I, have the baby at home. So I didn't have balance at first. But now what I realize is, especially when you have the talent, people want they want what you have. So they'll work around whatever your schedule is. And so one of the luxuries of being self-employed and an entrepreneur is so that you could create the life that you ultimately want to have. And so for me, it takes creating a schedule, like this is my work schedule. And then when I get out for work, I have boundaries where I just don't deal with, I don't always bring work home. So I had that separation. So for me, the most important thing with like starting out in business is knowing what your why is, having a plan, and even writing, putting things into bite-sized goals. So like if your ultimate plan is to open a salon, those little, like they say, you could eat a whole elephant if you take small bites at a time. So one of those bites is, okay, well, first I'm gonna start by building my Instagram with pictures and things. That's a bite. And then the next thing can be, okay, from there, I want to make this my niche. And then from there, just having these small little bite-sized goals in order to achieve your top goal. So a lot of times I write all of my things down, but even recently I went back to one of my planners from a few years ago, and I'm like, dang, everything on here happened. But you just had to write things. I believe in writing things down. You see my vision board.
I see it.
I totally believe in writing things down. For me, it's just something about when you write things down and just bring it more to life for me. So I would just say balance is everything, because you can't do everything at once. And another thing that I find very important, I know when I first got into it, it was like I was team no sleep. But I realized that doesn't work for me. I need sleep and I need rest. And so I will take a nap and not feel guilty about it now, because it makes me feel more refreshed and I can get things done instead of, working off an empty brain. So I think that creating boundaries is very important.
Absolutely. I mean, with a newborn now, I miss my sleep. Okay. It is crazy in trying to do the business. So I totally get that. You're in when I do, there's times where I'm like at the computer dying, trying to finish projects. And it's like, just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. I'm telling you. And when I do that and I wake up the next morning, I'm like, okay, I got my game plan. I'm more focused.
Yes.
I can get things done. And so it's just so important to do that. I know most people are like, oh, midnight oil. And there's times where if a project is due like the next day, we need to get things done, maybe. But
Right.
don't have that be a consistent flow, because one, you're just bringing more stress to yourself, and two, you're not your 100% or 110% focus in the project that you're doing.
I completely understand that. And I will say one thing that this whole pandemic has taught me, because, I'm still guilty of it at times, but like even when the pandemic hit, I just found myself like, okay, now what? Like now, and I was just jumping into everything, like as far as doing my wigs, and I was making the hat wigs, and it was cool because I'm glad that I had these other, talents. Most stylists, when this happened, they didn't have anything else, any other plan or anything like that. So it's kind of like a lot of people just were lost. And so I found myself when this first happened, just let me get this done and get that done, and doing so much. And then one day I was like, you know what? Nobody's going nowhere right now. Like, it's okay to take a nap. So that's where I am now, and just having that peace. Like my schedule right now, I work 2 days a week mainly. I also work Wednesdays for extensions, but I would rather have the peace. I was explaining to a younger stylist who just came into it, and she was telling me, we kind of did like a comparison. She had worked at another salon before, but she was just telling me like how, it was a very fast-paced salon. And I explained to her, like, here I have a good pace, but you're not going to look up and see 30 people here. I don't work well like that. And I said, a lot of people associate moving fast or,
as like you get a whole bunch of money.
Yeah. And a lot of times, like I told her, I said, my schedule is very smooth, very peaceful. And I said, and I was just giving her the example of how one person can look really busy and actually be busy, but another person can just look like they're not doing much of anything compared to the other person. But both stylists or both people can be just as successful. And that's why I explained it to her. I said, I want my life to feel like a vacation. I don't want to come into the salon and do 30 or 40 clients a day. That's me. So what I do to achieve certain goals is, you set things a certain way. And so I'm all about working smart and not hard. So when I leave, I don't leave feeling empty. Like I leave feeling like I still have me and I'm not overworked, underpaid, and overwhelmed.
Yes. And one way that you are doing that is having multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
What people need to realize that, Warren Buffett didn't have one thing that got him, famous. Multiple streams of income. And so that's something that I think a lot of moms need to realize that, of course, if you're starting out in business, right, start with that one thing. I started with event planning and now branching off to business mentorship with helping other event planners building their brand in event planning. And so that's the same thing with you of definitely, I think the pandemic really pushed you. You were kind of already there in a sense, but it really did push you to start the different multiple streams of income.
It definitely did, like, push me to no limit. To like now, I'm just in a space right now where I'm back in the salon, I'm working, but my main focus right now is how to produce income without actually being somewhere. That's my goal, because I do want to retire within 5 years. I do want to build a team where I can teach everybody on my team how to do what it is I'm trying to do, that I do. And I could kind of fall back into, I really want to mentor. I really want to teach, a lot of financial literacy and things like that I've struggled with learning on my own. And I learned from trial and error. But it's certain things that I want to teach other hairstylists that I feel like we're not really taught in school. So in 5 years, I just kind of want to I want to be on an island and just doing this, like on the computer, doing mentoring and classes. I don't want to be 50 and 60 years old, still standing behind a chair. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's not what I want to do.
Right. Well, wherever you at, I need to make sure you know that you got a responsibility for
everything. It's going to be like Chick-fil-A. Like, it doesn't matter which one you go to. My goal is to have it to where everybody's the same. It don't matter who you go to. I want everything very uniform. And that's what I'm working towards right now. So it's like, okay, Rickia here, but this is Pretty Hair Rockz. So it don't matter who I go to.
You're
do.
You're right. But I have trust issues. It's like I was just telling my husband. I said, I've been rocking with Rickia for a minute. First of all, I was trying to look for somebody else after I couldn't. The previous stylist, her schedule was just all up and down, and there was no consistency. And I'm like, okay, you're just not going to work for me. So when I found you, I was like, okay, I'm sticking. Plus, I can see my hair was growing, was getting healthy.
Yes,
I know. I know. My husband said. He said, "Wait a minute, your ponytail's."
Yes.
So I said, "Listen, Rickia moved up her prices." And he's like, "So how do you feel about that?" I said, "But I love Rickia's work." So yeah, she's the master stylist, and so our budget has to increase with Rickia. So, and I'm proud of you that you increased your prices. I'm not even going to say where your prices were.
Okay? That was very scary for me. I will be very honest. Me doing that was very scary. And sometimes when it comes to business, when I'm making some of the most scariest decisions, I reach out to client. Like I have one particular client that her and I are friends as well. And she's been with me since day one. So when it came to that decision, I called her like, Katrina, I just want to ask your opinion. Like, what do you think? I told her, first of all, why I thought I need to raise my prices. Mm-hmm. And I just gave her the whole rundown. And by the time I explained everything to her, she was like, She was like, honestly, Rickia, I think your prices should have been changed. And she was like, I don't have a problem. Because she will she moved to Texas, but she'll hop on a plane. And I'm like, I know somebody got it. She'd be like, no, nobody does my hair like you. But she'll come to, one time I was in Atlanta and she flew to me to get her hair done. But she said that when she initially came to me, the person that she was going to had charged higher at that time. And that was probably like 8 years ago. And so said, I don't mind paying because I know with you, I'm getting quality. You had healthy hair, like I'm not there all day, and your customer service, the integrity. So all these things play because some people charge prices, and I'm not saying what nobody should charge, but they don't have certain things to back it up, like the integrity or coming on time and making sure that your hair is taken care of. Like, so I feel like when you set in certain prices, you got to have a certain delivery. So I feel like I was able to do that because of my delivery. So, and the growth of your hair, people seeing the change, and because my thing is healthy hair care. So I'm like, I accepted to myself that I am a master, like humbly said, like I am a master at this. So I feel like, okay, I can do that. So because the thing is, like, some people that I have clients that have, ventured off and maybe went to someone else, but it was certain things about coming to me that they felt like they couldn't get from anywhere, anywhere else.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And I can contest to that. There's times where I'm like, I've jacked up my hair for about a month. I know Rickia is going to kill me. Or I'm afraid, like, I know we'll have to chop off a lot because I just wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Like, I was super shocked from the pregnancy that I didn't lose as much as I thought I was going to lose, because I was just, with the pandemic, not being able to see people. And there's times where I'm just like, what, wash and go, no conditioner, nothing. And I can contest that when I stepped into a chair and my hair was still healthy.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't do anything different. But take prenatals. That's it. So
no, we was able to do the run up as soon as we came out of quarantine. Like, what?
Yes. So definitely can contest to that. So we talked about how you started the empire. In the midst of that, like, as there's always a certain part in business where you're like, okay, I kind of got out of that starter stage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of like heading up that ladder to that next step. So how did you get from that starter to that middle?
Oh, from the starter to the middle, a lot of grinding. And when I say grind, like when I first started out, when I left my job, I told you I didn't have a plan. I wasn't at a salon. I was in my apartment, and we lived in a unit where it was like, we lived in a very luxury apartment, and we had like 300 something units in the apartment. So when I say every single week, I printed out flyers from my computer, and I would go to each door every single week and put my flyer under their door and just say, hey, my name's Rickia, I'm a hairstylist in the building. And so the women that worked in the building, because like I said, it was a luxury building, so a lot of these women had like really good jobs and things like that. But they were so excited about having a hairstylist in the building. So that's initially how I started building my clientele. Then I went to a couple different salons, but for me to get from that point, they say, I try to tell people like overnight success on average take about 10 years. And it's this right here where I am now is, I feel like I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like all these past years, like where people might have thought that I was where I have not felt that way, I haven't felt like I really arrived until this year. Like all the struggles, like, I was Salon Plaza, and I remember one time I had hit rock bottom in 2016. And when I say rock bottom, everybody's rock bottom is different. For me, it was living off all my credit cards, to pay my shop rent, to pay my home bills. Like I literally, to the point where sometimes I would take my credit card to pay myself, so the next day the money would be available for me to withdraw instead of doing a cash advance. And that went on for a long time. And I figured, like, I could not figure out what is wrong. Like, I'm like, okay, I saw the clients coming, but I wasn't seeing the money. And what I realized is I had a bad relationship with money. And so once I understood, okay, money, you can't just have it. You have to know exactly what to do with it, how to move it. And so I started studying, like millionaires. And I do this all the time. So I always watch like Oprah. I watch like Lisa Nichols and like, okay, what are they doing that I'm not doing? Number one, I had to change my focus because at the time when I was at the bottom, that's all I focused on. I would drive to work and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so broke. I'm talking about like, I ain't talking about having $15 in my account. I'm talking about having negative $1,500 in my account. I can't pull from nowhere. And so, you know, I went through a phase where I had to I was moving, and so I had 2 sets of furniture for everything. I went on OfferUp. I started just selling all the double stuff I had. I packed the kids up, like had it looking real neat. I started selling their clothes by the bag, the clothes they couldn't fit. But it just took 10 years. It took about 10 years for me to, you know, feel my way around things. And I had a formula. Like I always focus on, I want to be a 6-figure stylist. And so I started reading books on it. And I started putting a formula on my mirror. Like, okay, for me to be a 6-figure stylist, I had to do anywhere. If I had to work at least 5 to 6 days a week. And I had to average out like 380 something or 420 something, whatever it was. I had this formula. And I'm like, okay. And then I had to do at least 8 clients a day. So I would focus on that for that week. Like that's part of the bite size thing. Like, okay, now I'm able to get 8 clients in the week. And then then I'm like, okay, my next thing is to get 8 clients in 3 days. And then I just, every time I reached that goal, I was on to the next thing. So now it's like it's easy. Like if I don't have a busy day, like I could just do a post like, hey, it's something open, and people would call because now it's more overflow. And that's what I pray. Like, God, just give me overflow to the point that I can't keep track. And that's how I want to feel. I want to be overwhelmed with those type of problems instead of being overwhelmed with not having. So once I changed my focus and started focusing on my relationship with money, so now I have a formula. So I pay myself and I only live off a certain percentage. And so I break it down 10, 10, 30, 50%. So the first 10%, every time I get paid, I tithe. The second 10%, I always save. 30%, one week I might use it for my personal, like bills or whatever. Yeah. And 1 week I might use it for business. So I kind of rotate that 30 and 50. So if it's more bills due that week for business, I'll take the 50%, put it into business. But I do not live off 100% of what I make. I try to live below my means. But during this process, just finding out what my issue was with money. And one of my issues is always thinking like I don't have enough. Yeah. It made me hold on to it. I'm like, I don't have it. So now I start thinking that I'm like, I'll say to myself, like, I always have it. And it probably sounds crazy, but what you speak over your life has a lot of power. So I'm like, I always have it. Like I have all these quotes around me and all these things. And then once I start focusing on that and stop focusing on the negative, I'm like, dang, that's really true. Like it is. Everybody who's successful say the same thing. Write the vision down, make it plain, and just focus on that and focus on the positive things. Focus on what you're grateful for. So those things have helped me to get to the point of arrival. Like I had to do a lot of self-evaluating, getting to know myself. I went through a lot of steps. Like the beginning, trying to find my voice was one thing. Like first I struggled with years for trying to find like what is my purpose. I couldn't find it. Took me about 2 or 3 years to find my purpose in life. And what I come to conclude is I love helping people, and that's what makes me feel good. And aside from hair for me, like I love the act of doing hair, but I love the way that it makes me feel. I like the transformation of energy. Like when the client walks in one way and then they leave, it's just different. And when I got my hair done recently, when I left, I was so psyched. I was like, is that how I make people feel when they leave? I'm like, oh my God. Like I want to, like, oh my God, my head, like it's something about it. So I like that feeling. I like to help people, even with giving advice. Like I have given advice that I've paid thousands of dollars for, and I just give it like, oh yeah. Like I'm one of them people like, okay, well, how do you do it? And I'll just say it. So now, you know what? That's why I'm like, that's my next step is to mentor and make that a business instead of just give. Because what I realized, like when some people you could just give and they do nothing with it. And sometimes it can make me feel like, what the heck? I sat on the phone with this person for 3 hours of my time when I could have been doing something else, and they have done nothing with it. So it's just this whole journey for me has been getting to know myself, finding out exactly what is my end goal with my business. So, or what is my niche. And because I like to do different things, like, yeah, everybody kind of knows me by the silk press, but I never wanted to feel limited. So I felt like me focusing on healthy hair kind of eliminated those limitations. So I didn't just focus on short hair or just silk press. I just said healthy hair. So with that, it's like, no matter how you want to wear your hair, like I can do it. Like, yeah, I might be more popular for this service. This service may be more popular, but I can give you, you know, in this salon, you can get whatever you want. So it was just all about finding my voice, finding myself first, then the voice of my business. And after finding out, you know, the financials and things, because it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff with it. So, and building, you know, just building that reputation with people. So now I finally feel 10, 12 years later almost that, okay, now I'm finally can see the light at the end of the tunnel, because it has not been an easy journey at all.
Right. And you said some important things, and the word is right behind you. Mindset.
Yes. Yeah.
Mindset, shifting the mindset to, like you said, saving money, vision, right? And so I truly believe it. I love law of attraction. I'm very big on that. And I'm big on quotes too, as you can see.
Let's go. Yes.
Yes. And so if we speak it and keep reminding ourselves every morning we wake up, and that's manifesting. And like you said, writing, people do vision boards. Some people write lists. Whichever it is, this is the time of year to reflect what you accomplished. What have you done?
Yes.
To check it off. And as we can easily see in a pandemic, the year is almost a whole year since this thing started.
It's almost a
whole year. And what have you done? If you can't look back and say you've accomplished at least one thing, you know, you need to reevaluate. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? So, and I want you to go over those numbers again. You said 10% for your time.
I tab the first 10%. The next 10% I save.
Okay.
And 30% either goes to myself or business, and then 50% myself or business. I rotate those two.
Gotcha.
And, you know, some people, I know I wasn't a tither at first.
Yeah.
And that's one of the advice that one of my girlfriends gave. I kept saying, Amy, I don't understand. Like, I know I make the money, but I can never see. It's like almost like the money was like water. Like,
it just
soon as I get it, what the heck happened? And she would say, are you tired? And I'm like, yes, I am. She'd be like, are you doing 10%? I'm like, and I, even in my 30s, like, I would be the person that when I did go to church, like, I'm still putting in $2. Like, I don't know what, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And she was like, just do it. But when you do it with a giving heart. And I started really doing it with a giving. Like, I didn't think about it. So now it just comes so naturally, and I just feel good when I do it. Like, okay, like, and she said, because if you're not responsible now with 10%, you don't even have it. Like, God is just not going to trust you with anymore. And that's what I realized. Like, hey, so when I started doing it, and now it's become part of my routine, I'm like, I just see growth and more growth. Like, even with the whole, like, the salon now, I'm like, what? Like, some stuff is really surprising me. And then when I go back and look at my journal, I'm like, oh my God, like,
you wrote it down. You wrote it down. And you created a culture. You know, but I don't know, because I don't go to a lot of hairstylists to be like, oh yeah, so and so does it this way. I can only speak about what I see, and I've seen the growth. But one thing I love about the new salon is you have that green wall. Oh, right. And so it's a great marketing and branding perspective where people can finish their hair. You go to the wall to take your picture. That is like, as you're exiting, please take your picture.
Oh my God.
Right? So it was a smart move. Whether you were just like, oh, this is cute, it ended up being a great, smart branding move.
They love it, because my goal with the shop is I almost wanted every corner of the salon to be a photo out.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to matter if you, I didn't want it to be a specific area where you sit. And I wanted every area I felt like I wanted to put details and everything. So if you sitting under the dryer, you feel like I should take a picture here, like this cute. Or if you sit in a chair, like, oh yeah, let me take a picture. So I wanted everything to be a photo op. And one of my clients said the other day, it's just so aesthetically
Yeah.
pleasing. And she was like, this whole shop is just aesthetically pleasing. I'm like, that's a good word. She was like, it's the aesthetic, like everything. And I was like, and that was my goal, was to, no matter where you sit in the shop, that you just want to take a picture in every little corner.
Yes. And I got some ideas. I'm not going to say on live now.
You're queen of ideas.
Yes. When I come for my hair, remind me, because now there's something that you said when we were at the old shop that we didn't have enough room for, but we definitely got room for it now.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what tips can you give moms to walk away with tonight? Like, if they were just not inspired, what is like 3 tips you can give them, to whether it's being a hairstylist, an event planner, whatever your passion is?
Okay. So the first thing I would say is, going back to what I said before, finding your why, because that why is the inspiration. So whether it's your kids, or you making your mother proud, or you proving something, someone maybe never thought that you was going to get to a certain point. So finding that reason why. The second thing that I would say is to have a plan, like write things down. Is a lot of power in writing things down. Some of the most successful people, every successful person that I've looked at, I haven't come across one person that has not written things down. So that would be a second thing that I say. And then one of the top things for me is to, watch the company you keep, and hang around people that you want to be like. Like, if you hanging around, like they say, if you hanging around 5 people that's not doing nothing, you're going to be the 6th one. If you hang around 5 people that's go-getters, you're going to be the 6th one. So definitely watching your circle and the type of company you keep, because you become like the top 5 people that you surround yourself with. And so I'm very protective over my space, my conversations, and the things that I entertain. And so that's very important for me. So I would leave with those 3 things. And again, I think that's it. Like, so yeah, writing things down, company that you keep, and knowing your why.
Those are some really good points, ladies. And if you don't walk away with anything else, make sure you walk away with that, as we're closing out 2020 and we're heading into 2021. I would say it's the WON, like, we won because we went through crap in 2020. So we're winning in 2021.
Listen, we be here. Because I told somebody the other day, I said, next year is 2021 WON. I said the same thing.
Yes.
We're gonna write
write it down and claim it. So this has been amazing. Thank you so much. I didn't even realize we've been on for like 43 minutes.
I just feel like I'm talking to my girlfriend. It doesn't
exactly
feel like I feel relaxed. So
yes, and that's what I love. That's what I love. We're just here to inspire moms, so that they can realize they're not alone, and the different struggles that other people have gone through, and getting ideas to see how are other people doing. Like you said, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So if you want to surround yourself with like-minded people, I think that's almost another thing that I love about you, and why I continue to go, is I can talk bits. It's, I know most, like, in barbershops, it's like, male talk or whatnot. And in the beauty shops, it's about, beauty talk, girl talk, whatever.
Yeah.
I talk about business when we get together.
No. I'm like, dang, that's a good idea. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. And I'm like, Melissa, I saw your email. Like, I love your emails. Like, this what's going on right now. You should have seen me when I said, what? This is a whole production.
Yes, girl.
What? How in the world did she, like, it's so pretty. I'm like,
thank you. Like, yes. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about how we gonna get you there. Okay.
Yeah, I finally did the one email, but I need to, be more consistent with that. But like all this shoe giving right here is just epic. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. So you guys, please make sure you follow my girl Rickia. Is scrolling down below at Pretty Hair Rockz. If you're in the DMV area, I don't care who your stylist is, it's time to change. And on her calendar, it's already booked. So you have to go to 2021 now. I'm sorry. I might have picked one of the last ones in the year. I can't go to Christmas looking like this.
Look.
So definitely follow her. And we're super excited that you guys are here with us. We have our last one. I think we're still going on for Wednesdays. I gotta double check with my admin, but we either, if it's not next week because of Christmas, we'll go to the following week. But we are soon closing down the year, and if you're interested in being on the show with me, please send us a message at hello@melissajakes.com, and you can be featured as a mommypreneur on this show. Rickia, again, thank you so much. We're so glad to have you, and I will talk to you soon, girl.
Okay, I will see you later. I really enjoyed myself. Thank y'all for joining, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, you guys, have a great evening. Be safe. We had some snow today in Maryland, so I was super excited about that. So definitely make sure you are staying in tune. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. We want to hear more from you, okay? So put comments in below. If you have questions for us, put it in the chat, put in the comments. We still answer posts the live event. So have a great evening. Bye.